Man, so Patrick, it's good to see you, man. You've been doing all right?
Oh, dude, as good as I can be. 2020 has been a crazy one.
I know, right?
But I'm doing well with all things considered.
Yeah, man, that's good to hear. I really wanted to catch up with you, man. You know, talk to the fans a little bit. Just get to know you more, man.
Yeah.
One of the things I'm sure you always get, the question is, what made you get into bodybuilding?
Oh, yeah, dude. It's definitely one of those sports you kind of love it or hate it, right? And I never expected that I would be doing bodybuilding. I grew up, I was playing basketball, I was boxing, I played all other sports. Bodybuilding was just, I would go to the store with my mom and I would see magazines. We were playing video games then. So Nintendo, whatever, what have you, and I'm looking at the game magazines, and not too far from that was health and fitness. So muscle and fitness, you know, and you'd see on the cover these big guys that are like, you know, their big veins all out, just crazy. And as a kid, you're looking at that like, geez,
Superman, right?
Yeah, how do you even get like that? And you know, so as I got older, I still like, as a kid, I would watch. It's probably telling my age here, but I would watch He-Man and Thundercats and all those different TV shows or cartoons where they always had like the muscular people. Where there was a Thundercats were like animals, so they were tigers, lions, all that.
Yeah.
And He-Man, of course, was like Conan. And he had like the skirt and boots and the sword. But anyway, he didn't have clothes on. Right? So I always...
you see how big they were.
Yeah, see how big they were. So in Hercules and all that kind of stuff, I watched that growing up. So I always thought that was cool to look like that. Mm-hmm. I just never really envisioned myself looking like that because I was doing other things.
Right.
Like I said, I would go to school, we had recess, we played kickball, soccer, you know, flag football, basketball, whatever.
Yeah.
So doing that as I was growing up, bodybuilding just wasn't a thought. So once I kind of got older and I was still, you know, playing basketball and boxing, strength training was a byproduct of that. So of course, you know, if you're a fighter, you have to be strong enough to hit. And if you're playing basketball, you need to be able to run fast and, you know, shoot. And just, you know, weight training was a part of it. Sure. It was athletics for everyone in middle school, high school.
Absolutely.
So I always liked the way that felt. I just never knew what it took to be a bodybuilder. So anyway, long story short, once I wrapped up those things and I was no longer playing basketball and boxing, I was still working out. I just had a little bit of a better knowledge of how to make my body look a certain way because then I remember seeing those magazines. So at that time, social media wasn't that big yet. Mm-hmm. There wasn't like Instagram and Facebook or any of that. So I remember reading a book. It was Arnold Schwarzenegger's Education of a Bodybuilder. In that book, he kind of detailed all the different basic movements that made him look how he looked, you know, and everyone knows who Arnold Schwarzenegger is, obviously.
Right.
But that's when I started learning proper exercise technique. So I would just go to the gym and do my own thing. Mm-hmm. Well, it wasn't long before I ran into a guy who told me I should compete. And now he's actually my best friend. And when he told me, I was like, dude, I'm not getting on stage in underwear. Like, are you crazy?
Yeah.
You know, so that's how it was. That was just the ignorance I had of the sport. Not knowing the actual dedication and hard work you have to put into it.
Sure.
So I was drawn to it because it was such a parallel with boxing. You know, boxing, it was individual effort. As hard as you could train, you would be successful in the ring. Bodybuilding is no different. As hard as you can train, discipline yourself on diet, cardio, the better you're going to look on stage. So it was one of those things when I started doing it, I just figured it'd be cool to try it. Well, once I saw what I could actually do with my body, and I saw what some of the other guys were doing, you know, the current Mr. Olympia champion at the time was Phil Heath. So I saw he was a former basketball player. There was a lot of, you know, things we had in common. So I would see him do his thing, and I was like, well, man, if he can do it, I can do it.
You had the foundation of being an athlete.
Exactly, yeah. So me doing bodybuilding was just applying discipline in a different area.
Very cool.
So it just kind of came natural, and genetically I was gifted. So I started to put on muscle, and I am in shape year round. So it makes it easier for me. But yeah, man, I couldn't see myself doing anything else now. And I've been in it just 6-7 years, but I wish I really would have started earlier, but you know.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's great to hear. I really like that.
Yeah.